We are located in the Research Center Freedom of Agrisavia, located in the city of Villavicencio at kilometer 17 of the road leading from Villavicencio to Porto Lopez. Here we have a series of research on agricultural and livestock issues. Here behind we see San Martinero cattle, which is a Creole breed which we have germplasm bank, and we do research with this breed that is adapted to conditions of the Orinoco. In the agricultural area, I would highlight 3 topics. In the area of transitional crops, we have done a lot of research in recent years on soybean varieties, rice varieties, and a product that has been a star in recent years is JJT fodder sorghum, which although it was developed by the Transitional Crops Research Group, it has been an important technological offer for cattle producers. We also have research on cocoa crops in territories, of which we are developing some projects in the Piedmont of the Plains, especially in the Arauca area. We have a project there that is starting with the government of Arauca, and we also have some projects on rubber and African palm. Well, La Libertad also has the Caramagua Selection Center, which is located at kilometer 330 of the road that leads from Villavicencio to Puerto Carreño. It is a research center with a wide trajectory in research for the Colombian Alta Llanura. We also have the Taluma Farm, which is located at kilometer 92, on the road that leads from Porto Lopez to Puerto Gaitan. It is a farm with about 400 hectares. It is a transition between the foothills of the Highlands and the corporation that made at the time to have this ecosystem to do research that came from the Highlands that could be adapted to the foothills or otherwise. At this time we have research there in rubber, citrus, livestock, also some trials also on issues of soybeans and coffee canefra. These sites are the ecosystem that make up the Research Center Freedom in the Orinoco. The Colombian highlands are known in Colombia for the wide possibilities of arable soils, flat soils where important agro-industrial developers can be established. In fact, in recent years there has been an important influx of investment from investors in forestry and rubber. There is a very important economic enclave such as the Fazenda, with all the articulated production that they have, from the production of pig feed to the production of pigs that are sold practically all over the country. Then these possibilities of this natural offer that the Highlands has is also the problem that it faces, because if sustainable development is not generated, if they do not generate possibilities that maintain the fragility of these ecosystems, the Highlands can easily become a desert. So the corporation has been developing research to generate productive systems adapted to these special conditions of the Highlands. But at the same time, with technological packages, with information, with agronomic practices that are more sustainable and adapted to these conditions. In this regard, we have all the research on rubber and forestry, all the research that is being developed on soybeans adapted to the Highlands, rice also adapted to the Highlands, I repeat, with agronomic recommendations that are adapted to these fragile conditions of the Highlands. In the corporate strategic framework, our main pillar is the generation of technological offer for producers in the rural sector in Colombia. In this way, let's say, all our technological offer not only in the La Libertad Research Center, but also in generating the offer of the corporation in the country, is directed to solutions that producers can obtain information on how to solve problems or how to generate better possibilities in their properties or on their farms. We have a work that every time we want to have it much closer. A direct work with the producer, we want to bring much more information to the producer. We are very close to them, and for that we have different channels of dialogue with producers, either through field days, either through the generation of information with workshops, courses, either through a methodology that we have in the corporation to help our technological offer to link producers to the technological offer, and it is the linkage plans. So our methodology is to work with the producers, identifying their needs, identifying the possibilities and potentialities that may occur in their farms, and our approach is to work very closely with them. And I repeat, we are increasingly focused on working much more closely with them. And at this time our proposal and our work, we want to have much more beyond in the villages. Obviously, at this time when we are going through this world pandemic situation, the situation has also had to adapt to this situation. To the extent that we have been able to solve this problem by following biosecurity protocols, we are going directly to the farms and municipalities where we can work with producers directly in the field. The genomic platform is a very interesting topic that we have been working on with Asaseb for the Brahman breed. It basically consists of identifying superior animals, animals that have a very good phenotypic expression, and in this way being able to identify the genetics of these animals and transfer it to other animals so that they can become a supply and become a possibility for producers to access the genetic information that superior animals have through these animals that can be crossed through this genomic platform. In the last few years at La Libertad, we have also been working on the methodology of implementing agro-silvopastoral systems, which consists of introducing trees within the lots or within the properties dedicated to cattle raising, and in some cases these trees are fruit-producing trees. This because for a long time we have already identified, as we can always see here, the cattle during these hours of sunshine look for shade, and easily the variation in temperature between full sun exposure and under a tree, easily the data show that it can be at least 6 degrees of difference. So this is animal welfare. In this way we have been working on freedom in this generation of these agro-silvopastoral systems, not only as a possibility of improving pastures thanks to the introduction of trees that can be leguminous that generate nitrogen to the soil, but also animal welfare for the cattle that a producer has in his property, but also generating possibilities of income through fruit crops that can be introduced in these agro-silvopastoral systems. One of the most studied, researched and analyzed production systems at CI La Libertad is the production and generation of better forage materials. In La Libertad we have a tradition of producing these materials and we are about to launch a Brie Santa. We hope to have good news in the coming months, because these materials have shown a very good productivity and a wide capacity to recover from grazing, but also very well adapted to the climatic conditions of the region. Meta, and in general the Eastern Plains, is known by all for all its potential in cattle production and specifically or especially better in meat production. In the CI La Libertad, we have a very interesting laboratory, in my opinion, that has to do with the measurement of meat qualities. Dr. Hernando Flores has been doing some very important work with producer associations. In this laboratory we can identify the qualities of meat of different individuals depending on what kind of food they were, their genetic origin. So we are measuring these qualities, and this information can be obtained later by both producers and consumers, and there we can obtain information to generate better decisions regarding prices. We want to work with the meat grills of the Department of Meta, given the influx of tourists from different parts of the country to come to the plains, and one of the attractions is the meat known as mamona. Then we want to work with these grills to identify these qualities, and later perhaps with the general tourism of Meta, for example contests of which grill offers the best meat, or generate different qualities depending on consumer tastes. Then this offer is also available at the CI La Libertad with all its meat quality laboratory. One production system that is quite interesting, especially for the Piedmont area of the Araucanian Plains, is cacao. We have been working on some projects, especially in the Araucanian Piedmont with the government of Arauca, on the generation of cacao agroforestry systems and introducing some fruit trees and some timber trees, also with a view to generating possibilities for climate-smart agriculture. It is increasingly necessary not to generate monoculture production systems, but to generate biodiverse systems that are better adapted to climate change, but also that contribute precisely to this climate change. Thanks to the generation of greater possibilities for the whole issue of hunting the greenhouse effect and capturing CO2 above all. Other issues that are being worked on, especially for the Ariari area and also for the Arauca-Casanare area, are the productive systems in plantain, improving planting densities and generating cleaner seed. The researcher Julio Jairo Becerra has been working a lot on this issue of improving the possibilities of having a clean seed of a disease that is difficult to control, such as the mucus. We have been developing a methodology on how to generate better seeds, how to take better seeds to the field, but also how to generate systems improving densities and perhaps introducing other crops, also generating agroforestry arrangements that improve the production of small producers, but also generate possibilities for this whole issue of adaptation to climate change. This JJT-18 material is very interesting, as we were saying a moment ago. It is a variety that was generated here at CI La Libertad by the whole group of the Innovation Network of Transitional Crops. Today it is a very important possibility for livestock producers here in the Piedmont and Highlands. So this material has shown wide possibilities for cattle production. This year we have started the third phase of a plan to link agro-silvopastoral systems, and its main purpose is to bring this technological offer, which is the forage sorghum JJT18, which has shown, I repeat, very good possibilities for cattle production in terms of the weight gain obtained by the animals when consuming this forage alone. Other productive ends of the broad tradition of CI La Libertad is the whole issue of soybean crop improvement. For over 30 years different materials have been investigated easily have been released more than 10 materials adapted to the conditions of Orinoquia both foothills and highlands. There are many investigations that were made from the ICA when at the time if he was called transitional oilseeds. The corporation later took up all that work and that is a work that must be brought as a whole trajectory and also results in terms of generation of varieties adapted to the region. At this moment, we are going to start a new phase of a soybean crop linkage plan to generate seed that can be taken to the producers for next year. Our technological offer is not only the agronomic practices on which we can generate better crops and generate new results in terms of production, but also the seed itself. The same varieties such as Iraca and Primavera 11, which are varieties that, unfortunately, a researcher who is with us, Dr. Samuel Caicedo, passed away, worked a lot on these varieties, and at this moment we are going to initiate a new linkage plan that means taking these materials to the producers' farms and for next year we will already have seed so that more producers can have these varieties in their farms. Soil analysis is another technological offer that the corporation has had for more than 30 years. Thanks to this offer, the soils of the Orinoco have been very well managed by agricultural technicians, agricultural and livestock technicians and agronomists in the region. With this information obtained from the soils of a property, a producer can make the right decisions regarding the correct management and use of fertilizers and soil correctives. Today, I repeat, the corporation has this offer available, and thanks to an agreement we have with Servientrega, producers can take their samples there in the soil. We have information on how to do it, take it to Servientrega, and with this agreement they arrive to our laboratory to be delivered with this information. Producers can take their samples there in the soil, we have the information on how to do it, take it to Servientrega, and with this agreement they arrive to our laboratory to be delivered the information of these analyses. Thanks to this information, a producer, and specifically in the Orinoco region, is that we have managed to manage very well the soils that have some particularities in terms of aluminum saturation, in terms of fertility, and in terms of amounts of iron in the soil. In the case of beekeeping showcases, we have been working in recent years to deepen research in the production system, given the growth and the boom that honey has been having in the highlands and in the Colombian plains practically. Thanks to this forestry development that has been taking place in the highlands, especially in species such as the acacia manjon, small producers have found in the production of honey an alternative or another solution within their property for the generation of income. The corporation has not been oblivious to this and has been developing a methodology of apicultural showcases. We have one at the Taluma farm and we have another one here at the La Libertad Research Center, in which two specific researchers are developing methodologies to deal with bee diseases, to deal with better ways of beekeeping production, and are working a lot on the subject of good beekeeping practices. We are preparing some projects for the royalties fund, not only for Meta, but also for Casanare and perhaps for Vichada. on this subject of beekeeping production because I repeat it is a very important alternative especially for small beekeepers. I think that what is coming in the future for the region is to implement the technological offer available not only from CI La Libertad but also from other research centers, such as universities, SENA, as well as private companies that have already settled in the region and have important information on their productive systems. We have a technological offer, we have information. But the important thing is to implement it in order to reduce the possibilities of affecting the natural offer of the Highlands and the Orinoco region in general. One of the serious difficulties in technology transfer is the credibility of producers in terms of adopting or not adapting a technology. The best way to reach a producer with information, with technology, is through example. And in this way the corporation has been developing linkage plans that consist not only in identifying, researching and making technological offers, but also in linking small producers or producers in general to this technological offer. And what we do then is to generate a work plan with producers. We then generate a work plan with producers around a productive system and a number of technological offers so that these technologies are adopted in their farms and they, hand in hand with the researchers of the center, develop this linkage, and with this work in which we follow up and accompany them, they become convinced and adopt the technology. So it is through example and following the linkage plan that we are achieving that the technology is adopted by the producers around the research centers. The research that we generate in Agrosavia is oriented on the one hand to maintain the natural supply of agroecosystems, and on the other hand obviously to improve the socio-economic conditions of small producers, and in rural areas. In this way our information, our technological offer helps to improve these indicators, both natural supply and socio-economic and family indicators in rural producers. It is important to emphasize the importance of being efficient and productive on a farm, but it is also very important to be sustainable on a farm. So what we have discussed during the program, we would like to highlight is that thanks to the technological offer that we develop, thanks to the knowledge, thanks to the technology developed by the researchers at the La Libertad Research Center, possibilities are generated to generate more efficient, more productive but also more sustainable productive systems. The conclusion that I would draw from all this is that by implementing technological offerings obtained in a research center linked to producers through a linkage plan, they can be taken and adopted by a large number of producers in a region and thus achieve effectiveness, productivity, and sustainability.